Hello and welcome to the GamePitch Podcast, proudly presented on the Project Nerd Gaming Network. I'm Elijah, one half of the hosts of the GamePitch Pod, and today I'm joined by some amazing guests from VoxPop Games. That's right, I've got Charles and Marc with us. You can see their names above, of course, it's on the screen. But I just wanted to say first off, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for, being on a few of the Project Nerd Gaming shows. And man, tell everyone in the world what VoxPop Games is.
VoxPop Games is an indie-focused games distribution platform. The problem we're trying to solve is the most basic one that indie devs face. How do you reach an audience if you don't have any money up front to pay for advertising and the like? VoxPop is a profit-sharing network. Anybody who helps a game get sold by promoting it, recommending it, showcasing it, right? They get to take a percentage of each sale, and developers can leverage some of their future income to help get more attention on their game.
This is exciting because on the GamePitch Pod, we talk about indie games all the time. They're our life. They are our wife. Like, we're always just like, oh, I love Celeste or I love Limbo. Like, indie games are in our heart and our passion. It's one of the things we support. I actually just released an indie game and it's on Game Pass right now and it's doing really well. But I think that I really love that aspect of this service, right? So that you guys are spotlighting indies, that you're giving them a platform. I was surfing through some of the products you have, but would you say that there's a lot of different products in this space right now, or are you guys kind of leading that charge? Are you kind of innovating in a way?
So in regards to trying to help developers create their own affiliate marketing structures, wow, I should have come up with simpler words to say in advance. But in terms of that, we are leading the charge. There is no direct product. In terms of how developers have previously tried to leverage the same kind of attention, right? There aren't really a whole lot of unified places for that. One service that people have commonly used was Keymailer, right?
Yes.
So you would give free copies of your game to various influencers, Let's Players, streamers, and hope they would play it. There are a couple problems with services like Keymailer, though. One is they're fundamentally tied to Steam. These are Steam keys, right? Mm-hmm. And getting your game on Steam as an indie dev carries with it some other challenges, unrelated to promoting the game. For example, the Steamworks wrapper doesn't work with any games that have external dependencies. So if you made your game in Unity and you want to get your game on Steam, then you need to tie it in with Steamworks in all sorts of other ways, like with Steam Achievements or with Steam Multiplayer, that kind of stuff. And that's a development spend that is not always feasible for every developer, especially for solo devs, small teams, right? Mm-hmm. The second reason why this approach is sort of outdated is because more and more big money is coming into the influencer market. Mm-hmm. So big studios, they've really woken up to the potential of streamers and indie devs of streamers and Let's Players, not indie devs, as a form of advertising. And so as an indie dev, and when you want to try and get a streamer on your side to stream your game, they got to say, well, what's in it for me? Yep. Right? Because you're competing for attention with all these other studios. Mm-hmm. You're competing with, Raid Shadow Legends or whatever, right? Yeah. So, that's what VoxPop is really trying to address. We're trying to make it so that indie devs have a tool to reach these streamers. You can go up to these streamers and, say, like, every sale that you convert for me, right? Every single one of your viewers that decides to buy this game that you're playing in front of them, I'll give you 20%, 30%, 40% of the sale, whatever, right? And you can stream my game in front of your audience. And we have testimony from some of our streamers as well, particularly Blade Burks, right? That streaming audiences, right? They really don't like to donate for content that they're getting for free anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to get your audience to support you, a much more efficient way is to ask them to buy something that will then give you a percentage, right? And what better thing to promote than the game that you're playing in front of them regardless, right? So that's really the idea behind this. We're giving devs a tool, and we are giving streamers a new monetization channel. Basically.
I need Eli's game on VoxPop ASAP. So you can't tell me that you're going to be on Game Pass and you're not going to at least try out our tool set after the conversation that we're having.
No, my bad. We'll talk. So I think boiling down everything, because this is a ton of information, and I really love the way that it sounds like things are almost passion first to me, because when you're a streamer, right, you're going up against the algorithm, you're going up against the meta, all the things that are super popular in the world, but then you're able to curate almost a library of things that you think are cool and you want to push your people to. Am I getting that right?
Exactly. You know, when you're trying to stream professionally, like actually make money off of it, everything becomes about opportunity cost, right? So even if there are games you're passionate about, even if there are developers that you really care about and you want to, give some promotion, your thought always has to be like, oh, well, what's the next thing? What am I giving up to do this, right? Like, how am I going to keep the lights on for myself?
Yeah.
And we just want to level the playing field in that regard a little bit. And also, I mean, like, even the most popular professional streamers, they'll have gaps in their sponsorship schedule.
Yeah, of course.
And so VoxPop is another way to fill those gaps, right? Where you might not be able to before. And like I mentioned, just like a Patreon, just like a Ko-fi, VoxPop is another way. You can ask your audience, hey, if you like my content, maybe support me and help me keep it going.
That's pretty much the crux of it. That's what sold me to become a partner immediately. I saw it as an indie boutique Steam with careful curation, with quality art house, anything from garage dev to AAA styled games that are the bread and butter of the industry at this point right now, with the dawn of, with the boom of Fall Guys, Among Us, all these viral hits that are coming across the board. So what we want to sort of focus on is, if we are that indie boutique Steam with curation and user incentive with Ko-fi or Patreon linkage, we're sort of merging the two ecosystems of dev and content creator. I don't want to say streamer only. Yeah, content creators, because we got
influencers as well. Yeah,
that's exactly. That's the sort.
I know everyone hates the term influencer.
Yeah, it's like
there's no other word to so neatly encompass every other type of content creator, right? Like.
Yeah.
Content creator is the I guess cleaned, car washed version of influencer. So just content creator. It also encompasses YouTube, streamers, meme styled video creators. So it's all that.
Yeah, and things are living in so many different places. But the thing that you just caught my eye here, made my ears perk up, is it sounds like I can have my own online boutique, like you said, like my own pop-up store of games that I love on the service. Is that?
That's exactly it. You're
do that right now.
Your external link, as soon as you log in, everyone pretty much is regarded as the same type of user. You have the ability to become an influencer or game content creator that pushes the games that you enjoy on our platform.
So the way it works is this. Every single game has a default profit sharing percentage that's always there for everybody. So anybody who helps this game, recommends this game, anytime somebody buys it from your link, everybody gets this default percentage. However, developers can also assign larger percentages, custom percentages to specific users. And this is how we envision that developers can approach streamers with an audience, YouTubers with an audience, and say, I'll give you a higher percentage than the default.
So Eli, for clear-cut example, you have a game on Game Pass, you bring it to VoxPop, you have a YouTuber, VTuber, any kind of influencer, content creator, streamer, you say, I want to work with this person, I want them to play my game, review it, whatever. If they buy the game from VoxPop at the full price, because we have to get rid of this sort of short selling of e-commerce, like short selling of digital properties. That's why NFTs are popping right now, because you can't short sell digital content and like a year before the game is worth $30 and 2 years later it's a penny on Switch or 99 cents on Itch or other platforms. So let's say you sell your game at full price. But for this one influencer that you want to target, say, listen, dude, if you sell this, your percentage will be higher every single time someone buys this from your recommendation link. You'll be able to eat off of these thousands of followers that your influencer is going to draw as an audience. It's pretty much an affiliate marketing strategy that we have. We want to focus so that everyone has their own unique opportunity to build their own catalog, their MySpace top 5 of games, and go ahead and say, guys, here's my link. I'm playing these 5 games for the next week. Buy any of them, and you'll be supporting the channel. You'll be supporting my content. You'll be able to help me, advocate for this dev. The dev gets more money per rev share, per game sold. And we end up changing the dynamic and the paradigm of what e-commerce is for games.
So I think for me, another thing that I'm realizing or recognizing with this awesome thing that you guys have built. So one, congratulations and thank you for something like this existing in the gaming space. But I think I'm seeing this thing where at the end of the day, you want to feel good or be able to sleep at night kind of thing. And I think that if you're a streamer or an influencer and you're doing this thing where, you can get tips, there's all kinds of ways that you can get revenue, right? But as a streamer or an influencer, if you're also helping support an indie dev, I think that just makes me, warm and fuzzy on the inside to be just kind of cheesy about it. I think that does feel good. I guess I would ask you guys then, so is there a way to, let's say I have a fantasy RPG that I'm putting out. Is there a way to is there tags in your system, or is there a way to find other influencers? I was this person's on the service. They regularly play things like The Witcher and Elder Scrolls, and my game's a fantasy RPG. Can I find these people and reach out to them?
There are tags for games like that, just like that. In terms of finding streamers that way, though, that's something that we're still building out.
Okay.
So what we want to build very soon is a sort of streaming bounty board.
Oh, that's awesome.
Have, developers post their games, post a percentage offer that's obviously negotiable.
Yeah.
Everything's negotiable, and then say, I'm looking for this kind of streamer, yada yada. Contact me if you want to.
Right now that exists in our Discord. So we have tags for everyone. So our Discord, please join our Discord as soon as possible. We're gonna try and get as many people and content creators. Right now it's over 95. With 9 sponsored streamers. We have affiliates that are all signed to use our iconography during their streams to get advocacy for us. So it's already happening. The flywheel's already happening.
And the other side of that, of course, would be streamers can post to the bounty board and say, I'm looking for this kind of game. I have this followership. I'd like this, percentage ideally, or I have this dollar amount target per sale sort of thing. Right. So, that's.
I love you guys gamifying it. That as soon as you said bounty board, I was like, "Yep, that's the quest board." And wow, I'm going to it with the exclamation point. I'm clicking it and seeing what's available. I love that.
Charles and I we're indie dev centric. Charles is an indie dev for years. I've been working in the industry for 16 years in AAA, and all we did was steal ideas and jack ideas from independent games. I'm not gonna lie about it. There's a reason why the Red Dead Redemption wheel structure is the way that it is. So. Those are all ideas that were taken and generated in feedback.
I love it.
Pretty much derived from independent games. So they don't get their just desserts. They don't get their they don't get anything other than short sell your game every summer and every winter, and you guys will get some bump, but you'll still plateau. Right now, we need to change the dynamic. The dynamic here is sell your game at full price, but you use the user incentive to say, hey, you'll gain money. More people would rather hear that they're going to get money rather than saving money at this point. It's like a psychological thing. We've been so accustomed to sale, but then what is that doing for the developer? And if your warm and fuzzy feeling is I'm helping out a dev, then you're not alone, because there's plenty of content creators and plenty of just gamers that want to help devs more than ever. And now the pandemic hit, and there's more game creators, there's more streamers and content creators and game developers that are coming about. So we're hoping that they flood on board and user acquisition, and we haven't slowed down with acquiring games and acquiring streamers. So we just got to keep that wheel going.
Gotcha. I love it. So we've gotten pretty far into the conversation without specifying what each of you do at the actual company. So Marc, can we start with you? What do you do? What's your day to day?
I'm the digital sort of vocal guy that's with the community that does business development deals. So I'm the one that's talking to our publishers, our indie publishers, which we have a bunch. Big shout outs to Rogue, PID, 1C Entertainment, Bonus Stage. So we're dealing with indie publishers right now, established names in the industry that are putting their games on our platform. and I'm also dealing with devs one-to-one. And we're also talking on our Discord.
Gotcha.
We're doing publicity all day with our content creation and social media manager, Holly Welsh. We're dealing with our engineering team, Alicia Augustine. We're dealing with all of our interns, all of our fans. I don't want to call them fans, but community.
Yeah.
The overall VoxPop community has been so welcoming and so awesome. So my job as chief operating officer is the every job, the job that Charles cannot do and needs me to do is my day to day.
So it's moving and shaking, lots of hats worn. I love it. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, we're going to show. We were going to shows, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO. And actually, the funny thing about being in a small company is it's actually a lot like making a game as part of a small team. As an indie dev yourself, I'm sure you're aware, when you have a small team or when you're working solo, you kind of got to do a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just like throw it to your dedicated guy, right? And being the CEO of a new startup of a small company means doing every job that you haven't hired somebody else to do yet.
Gotcha.
Right. So, for example, a lot of my day recently has been trying to do a lot of legal research. So
Gotcha.
I've spent a lot of my time getting caught up in legal research about stuff because we don't have permanent legal counsel. Right. Stuff that I had there are things that seem really obvious in retrospect that you just didn't think of when it came time to start something. I never bothered to research what EU tax code looked like.
Yep.
I guess in the back of my mind, I just sort of assumed, if someone from the EU buys one of our games or whatever, I don't need to worry about what the EU's tax code is. I pay taxes to the US government. Not so, right? Many laws
that VAT gets you.
When I started. So the latest version of the IRS's NRA tax withholding law actually didn't go into effect until March of this year, right? So that didn't exist when we decided we were going to start VoxPop, right? So all of these legal questions, I try to settle them, but and try to do the research I can without without reaching out to some kind of legal counsel, right?
Gotcha.
I've often been the hiring manager. I've often had to be a liaison to potential investors and the like, right? And
business development, Charles. And when we were on, Charles is being humble here.
Gotcha.
But when we were at PAX, this is me with years of experience working with Rockstar and Capcom and all these other companies. Doing biz dev deals with them, and I flubbed. Talking to indie devs is a completely different thing than talking to AAA publishers or developers to try and do offshoots. Charles is an amazing business development manager. He pretty much put forth a lot of the deals that we got through our Able Gamers deal, a bunch of stuff that we had with Rogue. So there's a lot of stuff that Charles is being humble with. Business development, Charles is leaps and bounds beyond his years in experience to saving my ass. So I'm glad that I had him for that.
Anyway, my real main job as CEO is being the one who waits for tech support. Every time we need to do customer support, tech support, everyone else is too busy for it. It's like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
That's amazing. That's so good. Okay, so we talked about you guys. Let's talk a little bit. You touched on some of your team too, but can we talk about some of the talent you work with, be that in studio or in your doors or outside, and some of the influencers that you're partnering with?
In terms of our company, we are lean, but we are working very efficiently, and we're burning forward. We have one permanent engineer on staff. He's Alicia Augustine. He does excellent work. He's been a rock star.
Shout out to Gustin.
Huh?
Oh, I just said shout out to Gustin.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Alicia.
Yeah.
Although we've worked with several engineering contractors as well, it's also part of my job to manage them. And our social media manager is Holly Welch. Actually, you'll see pineapples with sunglasses everywhere in our store and on our social media. That was her invention. So we're really happy with her work.
So the story behind that, and I'm going to give you a little bit of insight.
Please, I love it.
Pina is our mascot. So everyone was like, we need to have a mascot. We need to have a mascot. Steam has like the Valve logo or whatever.
Mhm.
Nintendo has Mario. Sega has Sonic. Crash Bandicoot fluctuates between what it used to be for Sony. We have Pina, which is a pineapple with sunglasses. We were supposed to launch on 4/20 of last year.
Gotcha.
Pandemic.
Yeah, it got delayed to 5/20 though.
Pandemic killed everything, and I was just like, let's put up sunglasses on pineapple. Let's have different variations. Like the streamer version is a real pineapple with real sunglasses.
Yeah.
Everything else is either animated. We have like this cool video that we did, like was choose your character, like a Smash Brothers homage. You can check it out on YouTube and stuff. It's like choose your character. It has streamers. So every time you pick a different role when you're signing up, streamer, gamer, content creator, or developer, you'll get a different pineapple head, and then you could change your avatars or whatever. Most of the people just stay with the pineapples; they love it. But yeah, that was a cool invention by Holly. We all work to troubleshoot and brainstorm and whiteboard ideas.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's been great.
Now, in regards to the developer talent that we have, nothing in-house so far, but Marc can tell you all about the developers and streamers that we've been reaching out to.
Yeah, we have streamers that are in the top 2% of Twitch. So we have Twitch partners, we have Twitch affiliates, we have people that have become affiliates by using VoxPop. So we have more than 10 people since we've launched that have gone from 0 to full affiliateship. And they sign with us, and it became this thing that every single time, once they're like, hey guys, we're going to try and do this VoxPop game, a couple of key cool events that we've had are tournaments or indie competitive events. Okay. They've been Cash App sponsored. Last year we had like a Venmo sponsorship. This year we're doing like a whole bunch of different things. So the key games that we have are Guardians of Ladino Forest. It's like Super Space Age, like Space Harrier meets Doom. So think of it as Attack on Titan with golf balls. So that's a tournament that we have annually. We had two. We had one during our closed beta, and now once we went live, we had it for our sort of launch. And then we have Knockout Party, which is another cool game. That game has been seen by millions of people through Slogo, but he's not affiliated with us. But that game is pretty much like a party smash game where it's 4 players. You guys are going around throwing things at each other, and whoever knocks out each other each round is the winner or the king of the hill each go round. So it's a really cool jump in, jump out game. It's $6.
Gotcha.
But the devs have been really, really cool. Like I said, we have exclusive content. So we have made for VoxPop games. So games that are on other platforms. They say, what am I going to do? It's just going to put it on another storefront. So I said, hey, if you want to spend some time building something out, you can craft a made for VoxPop SKU variant, which I got from. Yeah, go ahead, Charles.
Every made for VoxPop game has exclusive content that is not available anywhere else. So the true complete version is exclusive to VoxPop.
Yeah,
of course, we also do have full exclusives that are only available on VoxPop. To developers who are interested in entering a program like that, we can negotiate, for example, giving you 100% of the revenue, like our share of the revenue, while the game is up for the first couple of months, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, because
you mentioned earlier, Eli, that you guys talk about Celeste. So one of our key titles, and you'll see it in the coming soon page on the platform, at the marquee for the hero tiles, we have Weaponeer, which is our partnership game with Able Gamers. Okay. We have Sword Car, which is another game. It's like Devil May Cry meets Carmageddon.
Amazing.
And then we have a third game, which is our exclusive title, which is Elu. It's pretty much Terminator meets Celeste meets Mario Maker. It's a game that's going to be wildly popular with the custom build crowds.
Yeah.
With the people that want to like build savage rounds of like Mario Maker, Impossible Death, like struggle matches, Super Meat Boy style runs, or the dev even created Celeste's first level using the tool sets from
cool.
Elu. We're going to have shareable content that's exclusive to our platform. The game is going to have exclusive bosses. We helped write parts of the storyline for it with the developer.
Okay.
So you'll see when you log into our corporate site, it says distribution and development. So we're helping promotions, marketing, digital distribution and development, and marketing and advertising and advocacy. So it's sort of like a 5-tool thing. I didn't want to cut you off, Eli, but
that's perfect.
That's what we have so far.
No, I love it because that's like you're bringing your games expertise and your know-how, and you're helping these people who might not have known any of these things. Like you're saying, Charles, like having to learn the legal stuff, right? Almost every indie dev has to wear all these hats, and they're doing art, but they're doing social media, and they're doing promotion, and they're doing all these things that aren't necessarily you would maybe romanticize as regular game dev, whether it's writing your fantasy character story and the twist in the game or doing the programming or the debugging. But these are all important parts of the game. So I do want to talk a little bit about the games too, because the ones that caught my eye as I was looking through your stuff, Bounce Night looked good. I really like Bounce Night because that Meat Boy stuff. And then I wanted to ask you guys, what is Carrot Hell? What is that game? Like,
so last week we had 2 weeks ago we had 2 releases back to back. So we released on Tuesday because of Sonic Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're doing the homage because now everyone's launching on Fridays because Nintendo does it. We're keeping it with Sonic 2 Tuesday. So we had this game called Sweet Pea launch, which was you play as a pea and you're going through like area to area. It's sort of like a platformer, but like you're shooting yourself with a pea shooter. That's amazing. Then the following week we had this game called Carrot Hell. Now it's pretty much a reverse bullet hell. You're avoiding. We have some micro art house games, so it's pretty much the reverse of a bullet hell. So instead of shooting out different patterns, you have to clearly avoid different patterns while this giant carrot comes out of hell and is just spewing all of its offspring onto you. So that right there. If you're a content creator and you can't get something out of Carrot Hell from VoxPop,
you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. And as a bonus, the creator pretty much says, I'm giving away 30% of the game. Like, I don't give a shit. Whoever memifies this game, that's the power of our platform. A dev could just do that, and we see that they queued it up and say, okay, Edward Atkin, which is the dev, pretty much set this as 30% for launch. And then I asked Ed, I said, Ed, are you sure? He's like, man, I want people to play this game. I don't care by hook or by crook. So I was like, when do you want to change this? You have the power to change this whenever. He's like, next week I'll put it for 40%. I don't really care. Just get it out there. Let's make it happen. So that is what is occurring. So I'm glad you picked up on Carrot Hell. Pick it up, support the dev.
Cool. Yeah, I liked it.
So that dev has also other games. Other Minds is incredible. So check out Other Minds. You'll see next week we have wish listing going live, and we have related titles because we have a bunch of games that are from the same developer houses or collectives or main devs or even publishing houses. So we have a bunch of new stuff that's iterating each variation that we come. Next week we're going to have wish listing so we could get Sword Car popping with wish lists because that thing is hot and heavy. And then we're going to get Elu wish list going as well. For Bounce Night, to answer your question about Bounce Night, that is a speedrunner's fantasy.
It looked real good. I loved it. Yeah,
that game is cool. And then another game that is being played is Mail Mole. That's from our publishing partners, PID. That game is another. We have a lot of speedrunner games, a lot of quirky indie competitive games. We partnered with Arden's Esports, which is this big worldwide conglomerate of sponsored streamers that pretty much advocate for us. We have our own indie competitive streamer affiliate team with them. They're called the Arden's VoxPop stream team, and they pretty much advocate for us, without saying, because they're getting more views, they're getting more viralization of their content on Twitch or Trovo or YouTube because of the things that they're doing. Some people throw it on Wednesdays. Some people will throw it on Saturdays. It'll just be there for VOD content, but it's really turning over a lot of advocacy for us.
Love it. Love it. So I wanted to ask Charles about the name. So your VoxPop Games, is there a story of where it came from? Or is it just like something like spreadsheet, or like it was the one that was just like, oh, this is fine?
I mean, I wish there was a better
Something
story.
like cute, like
Basically, I wanted the name to have something to do with Vox Populi, the phrase "voice of the people." I found that when it was shortened to Vox Pop, it sounds friendly. It sounds kind of like it sounds like an app name. Yeah. And when I did a Google search, there were no other technology companies with VoxPop as the name. The only other company that was named VoxPop was like an Indian clothing brand. So I said, there's a data void. It's a friendly sounding name, and it's got a meaning behind it that I like. And that was really it. That's the entire thought process. Sorry.
I love it. It's simple. No, that's not bad. That's perfect. I love the Vox Populi thing. I have heard that phrase many times, and I did not make that connection because I am not smart. So thank you for explaining it, Charles. I appreciate that.
You also have to
actually, if you search Vox Pop without the word games, the first thing that comes up is the Wikipedia page for Vox Populi. So.
And we're working hard. Yeah, we're working hard to get SEO so that we're the next time Vox Pop hits, it'll be Vox Populi, then it'll be VoxPop Games. So Wiki's coming about.
That was extremely obvious in retrospect, which is that, of course, Google search results are different order depending on where you are. So it was dumb of me to not realize that. But so this may not be the case for you, but for me, when I search Vox Pop without games, number one is Wikipedia.
Just don't tell the user to just Google VoxPop Games. VoxPop Games. That's it.
No, we're gonna change that. The PN audience, we got you. Everybody, go to Google and check it out.
Just give us a Google search and sign up for your gamer handle. That's it. That's all we're asking.
We need that. Yeah,
we're working on a Wikipedia page, hopefully soon.
We have enough SEO to manage it, but because of COVID, they've changed the parameters for getting an article listed. So they've made it extremely difficult for any small business to try and get their stuff, even if you have 5 to 10 pages of SEO, which we have 8 now. If you clear us, you type in VoxPop Games, you'll help the SEO, you'll help us get listed, you help us get our article placed.
Basically, because of a lot of COVID conspiracy theories, they've really clamped down on the number of sources that are considered reputable, right? So it means that you need a lot more mainstream press attention to get a Wikipedia page.
But I actually want to get on the Project Nerd article base, so that'll increase our SEO as well. So
we got you. All right,
articles. We'll have some articles for you. Don't worry. We'll do some coverage on either Elu, Sword Car, Weaponeer, anything. So yeah.
No, we got you. In the podcast post, we'll make sure that we credit you guys so you could get some of those articles up there. All right. So before we started recording, we were talking about pitching games, right? So I know that, Charles, you wanted to pitch one. Let me pitch you mine real quick here. Then you pitch yours back. We'll have a little volley here. All right. So my game, it's a stealth game. And your grandmother, you're a dragon. Your grandmother is a hoarder. She has this huge pile of treasures and jewels and all this thing. And it's clogging up the cave. Like, you can't move around. She's going to die because of all this treasure in there. She's going to suffocate. You, a concerned dragon grandchild, you're like, I want to help out my grandma. So what am I going to do? It's a stealth action game where you go and you take all of her jewels and her amazing armor items and you go hide them in chests around your random towns and towers and caves. So the entire game idea of the game is filling all the chests that people find in all these dungeons and stuff with your grandma's loot. So that's how all the loot got there.
What is the name of this, and when can I get it on VoxPop Games platform? What is the name?
Hoarder. I think it was just called Hoarder. Yeah.
Okay.
Your grandma's a hoarder.
And what style is it? Is it spiral style, or this is top down?
It's like Spyro. Yeah, it's like a third person like stealth game, but you're like, like the different type of jewels or armor that you have, because you're this little dragon. So like there's this oversized armor on you and you're moving around, and like the different items, like if it's jewels, they'll make different noises when you're moving.
Metal Gear Spyro.
Yeah, Metal Gear Spyro. Yeah, so that's Hoarder. That's there you guys go.
I love it. I want it. Do it. Make it happen.
Let's see here. So the prototype that has been sitting on my desktop for an eternity, that one day I'm going to have time to finish, is a PvP action farming game called Agroculture. I thought actually, there's a funny story. Agroculture happened because in my game design capstone class, My professor was Bennett Foddy. He's the guy who made Getting Over It, if you remember that from a few years ago. Also Quap. He makes a lot of physics.
The weird runner with the meme of the
Olympic
guy
runner
running.
QUOP to control their your thighs and calves.
You've seen it in memes. You've seen it on the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on the first day, he said, "You guys don't need a game by the end of today, but you need a genre." And as a joke, he was like, "Battle Royale farming, for example." And I decided right there I would do my best to make that. So Agriculture is a game where you can't fight each other directly, but you're trying to grow crops on the same 10 by 10 grid. And there's only so many water sources that you need to extend in order to water the crops so they'll grow so you can harvest them. So there's a couple ways you can mess with your opponent. So one is by rerouting water supplies and blocking water supplies. You can starve out their crops. Another thing you can do, just because there's only one of them and they need to keep their attention everywhere on the grid, is you can harvest their crops when they're fully grown. You can swoop in and steal their crops. What's crazy is every single round, at the end of the round, the number of workers at your disposal doubles. So in round 1, it starts at 4 workers. Then round 2, each player has 8 workers. Round 3, each player has 16 workers, and so on and so forth. And so it becomes just crazy hectic and super fast.
Perfect. Coming exclusively to the VoxPop Games platform.
But one thing that our work with Able Gamers has made me very interested in is accessibility. So as Marc mentioned, one of our games, Weaponeer, has a partnership with Able Gamers. What he didn't quite mention is we negotiated that partnership. Ever since then, I've been thinking more and more about accessibility in control schemes. One game that I've been working on in my free time, I don't have a title for it. It's an RPG where there's only one input. So it's a timing-based game. You hold down the button to attack. You let go to go back to blocking whenever you're not attacking. And right after letting go for that brief moment, you are invincible for a little bit. So the game becomes about timing and using the input to move your character to various places on the screen. But what I really want to talk about was a friend of mine, Gabe Rush. He's working on a really kick-ass game. I didn't get his permission to talk about the game in advance, but I will talk about the control scheme. Control schemes are not patentable. Okay, so his game is Morse code based, and you type Morse code to give simple commands to RPG characters, and the game becomes about learning various commands in Morse code that if you know in advance, you can weave them. But if you don't know them in advance, the way you power up is learning new letters in Morse code.
I love it.
And we've been talking about just making games that are more accessible for gamers that have disabilities.
That's incredible. I really love that. So I guess I want to ask you guys, because this is Project Nerd, right? What's the last thing that you've been kind of consuming or enjoying that's in the nerd sphere, whether it's like movies, TV, comic books, cartoons, anime? Like what's the last like nerdy thing that you were like, they brought you joy, I guess?
Oh, okay. Marc, why don't you start?
Well, I was going to get into my game pitch, but we'll cover that at another
time.
Marc,
let's do it. Let's do your game pitch.
No. Well, I've been working on this thing for years. It's called Defend Against Danger. Okay. You just type in defendagainstdanger.com, and that's the pitch. The pitch is you play as a defender, and you have to protect your child from the ills of the world. You have to think of it as MOBA styled. So we're going on a real world grid-based system where a 10 by 10 block of a real world neighborhood, you have to traverse it with your child, or you're the defender of this protectorate. You build your build. So each run that you do, it's procedural. So you're pretty much going, the world is a neighborhood, but that procedural world each time you go through the actual run, if you're going like up and across or like LOL style, you're going diagonal, you're going through the jungle, but you're going through a real world neighborhood. And in those neighborhoods, there could be different items. There can be different enemy types. We want to do with shadow play. So one of my favorite games of all times is Heart of Darkness. If no one has played that game, you're missing out on one of the most incredible art games that has ever been imagined. So my style of game is, if you cannot defend your protectorate, you're a bad dad. Oh. So you can build your dad to be any gender, any sort of race or creed. Like, it's a build. You're building your think of it like Dead Cells. Each build that you're going in, it's a brand new run. But you're playing it MOBA style. You're going in a grid, and we have locations in Tokyo, Osaka, Brooklyn, San Francisco, San Diego. So it's using real world Google Maps style things, and you're going from one end to the next. Like I said, just go to defendagainstdanger.com, and that is another VoxPop Games exclusive.
Oh, I told you this the first time you told me about this game, and I'm saying it again now. You really missed an opportunity to make this a zombie game and call it Dawn of the Dad.
Well, okay, Charles, I got to tell you something. That I've been doing the podcast with JD for like a year and a half, and your puns are exactly what we need. If you just want to replace me full time, because like our entire goal is to make games based off puns. Like last week we did one called like Investigation, and it's like investigating people to see if they were actually vaccinated.
We
like,
need that game too. We need that game. It's like Papers, Please. Papers, Please.
Exactly. That's exactly. JD pitched it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Very, very cool.
Listen, this is no laughing matter. Okay, in indie business, the pun title is the moneymaker. All right,
you're right.
That's what you're trading off of.
Well, so my
first game later. That's how it always is.
So here's the thing. My sequel is Defend Against Danger Again. So it's Dada. That's what it is. That's the sequel to it. So Defend Against Danger Again. And those have been patented, man. We have SEO for defendagainstdanger.com, VoxPopGames.com. Okay.
Oh my gosh. No, Siri, how do I end a podcast? How do I Okay. So like I said, I want to end on this question. Because this is Project Nerd, and I just want to hear about the things that you're consuming in the nerd world that are bringing you joy. If it's a game, that's fine. If it's some comic or movie or show, but Marc, I know you said Charles to have Marc start first. So Marc, what do you got?
I've been okay. So I am going to be a father of two. I've been married 15 years. My wife has had to deal with every type of game that I had to binge through. She suffered through me playing Cyberpunk at launch on Stadia of all platforms. But I just recently finished up RE8 Village because I used to work at Capcom. I was there for the inception of them starting on 7. I never saw what they were going to do for 8, and I'm pleasantly surprised at what they did. It's around an 8.8 game if I want to rate it anything. Really cool experience. I'm on my third sort of run through of it. Now I have all the weapons, and I'm just going in easy mode and murdering everything. Content-wise, I've been absorbing Castlevania. On my off times, the 4th season of Castlevania.
Oh, so good, dude. I love the 4th season.
And in between that, I've been playing Sword Cars interim builds. They're sort of pre-alpha, and that has been taking up the majority of my time because I've been going, balls to the wall trying to. This game is going to be one of the most punk rock things. Like I said, DMC meets Art Carmageddon meets Twisted Metal. That Sword Car. You're playing as a freaking card with a giant sword through the middle of it and just smashing through businessmen. That's the game.
I love it.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Perfect. Charles, what about you?
Well, because of VoxPop, there's just it's been hard for me to get into anything new recently. That's a huge time commitment. But I have been catching up on a lot of anime that I've missed over the years. Over the years, a bit of an exaggeration. I just finished watching Demon Slayer.
Nice.
As well, there's a new isekai anime that I really like called So I'm a Spider, So What? It's basically Have you ever heard of a show called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime?
No, but it sounds like these are things that I would like to, because there's a book like John Dies at the End, and like those kind of titles where I'm just like, yeah, I want to
jot these down. Yeah, jot these down.
So that time I got reincarnated as a slime is by the way, everyone knows what I mean when I say isekai, right? That's do I need to explain that?
Let's explain it to the audience, just because someone watching could not know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point. There's an entire genre of like manga and anime and light novels, which is someone in the human world dies and gets reincarnated in like a video game. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be fantasy world in general, but ever since SAO got popular, they've all been video game based. They all have RPG mechanics and stuff. So that time I got reincarnated as a slime was supposed to be a sort of remix of the standard isekai formula, where instead of being reincarnated as a crazy OP protagonist that's like over-leveled compared to everyone already, and
Bakugo,
the protagonist is just like some mook monster, right?
I love it.
And it was really interesting for the first 5 or 6 episodes, and then it became a harem show.
Oh no!
A lot of my favorite anime do this, unfortunately. But So I'm a Spider. So what is the version of that time I got reincarnated as a slime that I wanted? Female protagonist, so probably no chance of that crazy harem nonsense.
I
said probably.
Don't count it out. Don't count it out.
Amazing.
Oh man, the animation is crazy low budget though, because it's an Crunchyroll original.
Okay. I'm checking this out.
Noticeably low budget, but the writing saves it though. The writing is really great. So
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, I appreciate you guys coming on. I wish you guys the most success. Like I said, everybody watching, everybody who catches this video at any point in time when you do it, go to VoxPopGames.com, set up your account. Start doing this thing. If you have friends who are streamers, tell them about it. If you're a streamer, tell yourself about it. Look in the mirror and be like, hey, you, hey, me, I need to make a VoxPop Games.
I need the handle before someone steals my handle.
Yeah, you got to get on there and get
exactly.
that.
You don't want to be Deathbringer 421.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, on that note, Charles, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Project Nerd, GamePitch, we're here for you always. Check out the website, projectnerd.com. We've got the geeky goodness that'll keep you going. I'm Elijah. Thank you. Check out GamePitch on Mondays. You guys have a great day.